Your Excellency, just obviously top of mind in the news these days is the COP26 climate change conference in Glasgow. A lot of effort to try to see the path to net zero economies. Love to get your point of view on how Germany's transition is going. You mentioned coal earlier, you mentioned the energy agreement. Maybe give us the picture on that.
Yeah, I think we're at a very, very important point on our energy transition. We're also at an important point where our government is about to change. So
Yes.
we will probably have a new policy. And I think it's fair to say, I expect we will have an even more ambitious climate policy in a few weeks when the new government in Germany will have taken office. Germany has committed to being neutral by 2050, CO2 neutral by 2050. We've upped our ambition now to 2045 instead. So we've taken 5 years off. We also have committed to getting out of coal faster than originally anticipated. So this is going to demand a huge effort. And we will need, to electrify, we will need to diversify, we will need to save a lot of energy by investing hugely into energy efficient buildings. Transport, the buildings are sort of the big, and industry obviously are the big consumers. And for the industry, in particularly heavy energy consuming industry, I've already mentioned hydrogen, and the transition to hydrogen is going to be the big step. But energy efficiency in buildings is going to be one of the areas in which Germany is going to invest hugely. We have fabulous technology in that. There are some villages in Germany that are totally off the grid and producing more energy by their buildings than they actually consume. But we need to scale this up, and we will need to invest in our infrastructure. The grid needs to be renovated. So, this is going to be a huge technological jump, but also it will need enormous investment.
You mentioned, thank you for that answer, and you mentioned obviously the change in government that's coming up, I guess in a few short weeks now after the national elections, and we'll see the end of Angela Merkel, who's been kind of on the world stage for a decade and a half, I think, at this point. So that's a big change for Germany. And it's a kind of an interesting coalition because you've got the Socialist Party, you've got the Green Party, you've got the Free Democrats. And for those who don't know, the Free Democrats are a very pro-market, pro-liberalization party. So I'm curious as to know, I know you're in a bit of a situation because you are the ambassador, but maybe just let us in on, how, what other big economic changes do you expect to see with that kind of a coalition government?
Mm-hmm. Let me first say that in Canada, so many people have let us know their appreciation of Angela Merkel, whom they've considered such a stable international presence, and her legacy has received, I think, a lot of acclaim here. So thank you to Canada for that. And yes, it will be a big change. It's a big change not only because Angela Merkel, after 16 years, is leaving the helm of government. It's a big change also because for the first time, we have a three-way coalition. And it is a coalition that hasn't been together before, so untested. But in many ways, I think there is a lot actually of common ground. And my feeling is it could be a very beneficial coalition for Germany. The common ground is all three parties see climate change as one of the biggest challenges or the biggest challenge we need to deal with. I think all three parties want Germany to modernize in particular when it comes to our digitization, and will want to invest into that. So that, again, is another good point. I think all parties want to make Germany more competitive and help entrepreneurship in Germany to be easier.